What's up, book nerds? I'm here to give a quick shout out to one of our favorite bookish small businesses, Well Read Candle Company. If you need your home or office to smell like your favorite book boyfriend or maybe your favorite small town vibe to get you through the day, you have to check them out. It's a woman owned business making some of the best bookish scents, and we are fully obsessed. We will link the website in the show notes, and don't forget to use code WhatTheSmut10 to save 10% on your order.
What's up, book nerds? Welcome to What the Smut Are You Talking About podcast. We are a weekly romance book podcast where we talk about books and chaos. So yeah, pretty much anything goes.
Join us as we talk about the books we are reading, what crazy shenanigans are happening in our lives, and who knows, we may have some fun guests drop by.
So grab your favorite snacky snack and your beverage of choice and come hang out and see what the smut we are talking about this week. Hello, hello. Welcome back.
Welcome back. How you doing, Courtney?
Doing great. I'm sitting here. I don't know why I'm so hyper. Could be all the Diet Cokes I've consumed, but I'm just sitting here like dancing, like, woo, let's go.
Oh my gosh, I need some of that energy because I'm sitting here like, what the hell day of the week am I on?
I honestly don't know where it's came from because I haven't slept much this week and I'm in the middle of payroll hell. So I need it to get through.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Well, listeners, we have a fabulous author joining us today.
Yes, this author writes real, raw, and romantic stories.
She writes multicultural stories that are not only relatable, but are heartwarming.
When she is not writing, you can find her chasing chickens and or her kiddos in her small town in Florida.
Let's give a big warm welcome to Ambar Cordova.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yay! We're happy to have you.
It's been a long time coming, Amber.
I know.
I feel like we first connected, I think this is like 2.5 years ago now, and life has just been a lifing.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, I think from the very beginning, like before I released my debut, which came out 2 years ago, I was like, I want to be on this podcast. And then, it's been, but we're here. And that's what matters. And then, the past couple months, it's been like, oh, we can do it this day. Oh, no, I can't do it that day. Let me do it this day. No, we can't. Life when you have children.
Men, when you have children, it is like hot mess express. And when they're home for the summer, it's even worse. So that's where
I
I'm at
know.
right now.
Same. I maybe bribe them to leave
My
me in the office for a little bit.
my mother just took mine out to go shopping because he's like, Mom, I need new swim trunks. Mine don't fit. And I'm like, yeah, that's a problem there, kid. So he is out of
hmm
the house for right now. So I'm excited.
I love that for you.
Yes, I saw all the cute, like, summer fun things you made for your kids to do, like a to-do list, kind of bucket list thing.
Yes.
That looks like so much fun.
It's so much fun. Somebody commented and they said, "Oh my gosh, I'm already tired for you." And I'm like, "You're gonna be tired regardless.
Uh-huh.
So let's try to, I just need some structure. I don't need it to be super booked out, but I need to be like, okay, what from this list can we do today?" Type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had them fill out a lot of it too. So it's a lot of fun. We did it a few years ago for the first time. I was a teacher for a long time. So summers was like when I was trying to like, okay, I've been a crappy mom for 9 months. So let me do all the things in 2 months. So now I'm just like, for the school year, always on deadline. So I'm trying not to be on a deadline in the summer, but it's not working. Let me tell you, I'm still on a deadline.
Best laid plans.
Let me
Yeah.
release a shared world this summer when I'm not trying to
Yeah.
make deadlines.
Yes, yes. I'm trying to write right now. So that, Leave Me Again is done. And then my fall release is also done and written. So I'm trying to like work ahead and write like my first couple of releases of next year so I can breathe. So that's my hope for the summer. We'll see.
Awesome.
Good for you. Because writing is just so hard in general. So for you to get ahead, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I loved meeting you last year at a meet and greet cute.
Yes. Such a good signing.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, and I was the one going around and having everybody sign my point shoe. So that
I remember this, Mary. Oh my gosh, I was
yes,
obsessed with the point shoe.
yes, yes, and I will be there this year, so
Yes.
I will be back with a new point shoe.
I love that. I love that. Yes. Some in some interviews they ask stuff like, what has been the weirdest thing you've ever signed or the coolest thing you've ever signed? And the point shoe makes it almost every time.
Yes,
Love that.
legendary. I love it. Me too.
Legendary. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I may not remember what your face looks like, but I remember the point shoe.
That's exactly it. Nobody remembers. And some signings I'll go with a tutu on and actual point shoes at the same time.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
definitely am remembered. People are like, I don't know your name. I don't know like your face, but I remember you were the tutu girl. I remember you had the point shoes. Like
We love it. We love it. Yes, absolutely. We love, love, love. And Courtney, I met you at some signing as well.
a meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
It was the
was
same one?
Yeah, I was there. I feel like we've been to several signings together. But yeah, last year when I was like just walking up to you, it was right before the attendees got let in, and you
Mm-hmm.
just like downed a shot of whiskey.
That's accurate.
I was like, well,
10 in the
hello.
morning. Breakfast for champions.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That was such a fun signing.
That
Yeah, I'm
was
excited for it this year again.
same, same. I only have a general admin ticket, so I don't know that I'll get to meet everybody, but I'm like, I just want to go and have a good time. So
Yeah, absolutely. If you're in line for anyone near me, just throw the shoe and I'll sign it again. You don't even
okay,
just
I
say
love it.
hey, it's Mary. I'll run to you.
I know. I'll be like, here's my shoe. Awesome. Well, what are you currently drinking, and is it going to be strong enough for this conversation today?
Listen, in a perfect world, I would have had some like really strong afternoon coffee. However, it did not happen. So I just have water. But it is so hot in Florida right now that the water is exactly what I need for this conversation and any
I
conversation, really.
I can't imagine. It's hot. It's hot up here. And of course we have the humidity too, but I know Florida is like it's a whole
Yeah,
nother ball game too.
it's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
It's
I
that
I love
dry heat too, so it's like worse.
we get so I live near a coastal town and I'm in between like the beach and the highway, but there is an like intercoastal in between. So like a river
Mhm.
as well. And it is so humid and so hot. And there is a breeze for the most part because there's still a lot of like trees around, which, beats living in like, if I lived in like Miami, for example. But it's so different than the Dominican heat. And
Mhm.
it's terrible. But this summer has not been, well, it's not summer yet. So maybe I shouldn't even say that. I'm actually not even going to say that. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm
I
not going
know.
to
I
jinx
know.
it.
I know.
Don't do it.
I know.
I'm
You
not
I
don't
going
was
to
want
say
in
it.
it.
Orlando. I was in Orlando in March, and it was like
Hmm.
already 80 degrees, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. We had a weekend in March or April that was like 90 something. And then 2 days later, it dropped to like the 50s. And I was like, what is this? I'm like, I already put my jackets away. I know 50s is not much for anyone else that doesn't live in Florida, but it's a lot it's really cold for us.
Yeah. Yeah, that gets cold for you all.
We had 2 snow days this year too. And we had like a freeze day where like our water froze in our house
Oh my
because
oh
gosh.
gosh."
like like you don't how do you do that? So it's been this
Florida's
year
not
has been
prepared for that.
now, and people were like, do you drip your water? I'm like, I did actually, but it also didn't help really. It still got
No.
frozen. It was so cold. Yeah.
Yeah, you almost need to open what they tell you to do is open up all the cabinet doors
Well,
underneath of
well,
your sink and stuff.
thanks, Mary. Where were
You're
you 6 months
welcome.
ago?
See, I was in Virginia, probably dealing with snow too.
Freezing as well. Yes. Yeah. No, it was really cold here. But long story short, I'm drinking water for our conversation.
Okay, book nerds, a quick interruption for something that you might find useful. If your TBR is unhinged as mine, and you need a way to consume more books without quitting your day job, Audible will be your best friend. You can grab a free 30-day trial using the link in our show notes, which means you can listen to all the romance, fantasy, and morally gray men to your heart's desire. Perfect for your commute your hot girl walk, or when you're pretending to be productive, but you're actually just listening to smut. And yes, audiobooks absolutely count as reading. I will die on that hill. So grab your free trial with our link in the show notes and you can thank me later.
And we already, obviously, Courtney's had umpteen Diet Cokes today.
Yeah. Too many. Too
Uh,
many. I probably need water.
I am drinking. I just restocked my tea. So I have an Earl Grey creme brulee tea, herbal tea.
Yum.
It
Yeah.
is like, it smells like heaven, and with a splash of sweet cream, it tastes like heaven. So
Mm,
You're making me want a London fog really bad.
I
But
know
it's
that
too
sounds
hot.
they're
lovely.
my favorite drink.
I'll live vicariously through you, Mary.
Sounds good.
Well, on a scale of plotter to feral gremlin, what is your writing process like?
Listen, I want to be a plotter so bad, and I plot every time. And somewhere, so here's the problem. I love starting books and I love finishing books, but in the middle, I don't love it. So what
The
usually happens
messy
is
middle.
I don't know. I don't really know. So usually I start the book with an idea of where it's going, right? And then I make it to like 40% and then I'm like, now what? Like where do we go from here? And that's usually where I start getting other ideas, where I start getting like, but what if I write this next? And my my alpha reader who reads as I write, she's always like, but you need to finish this book. I'm like, okay. And that is why I set up release dates because if not, I would never finish anything. I would just write different beginnings. Usually at like the 30-40% mark is when I decide that I'm gonna plot because then I'm like, I don't know where I'm going from here. So I plot the like the middle and then the end. And usually I can stick to it for the most part, not necessarily like perfect scenes, but more like themes or like I need something to happen to get them to do this, for example. Except one of my books, I had a plot, I had a plan, but they didn't have a plot or a plan. And they just, yeah. I don't think anything that I wrote on that plot actually stayed on that plot. But for the most part, I'm somewhere in between, I would say. I do a little bit of both. I let the characters talk to me, but I do spend a lot of time building my characters. I spent a couple weeks just creating my characters, everything from like colors to zodiac signs, birth order to wounds and goals and motivation and fears and all of that good stuff.
That's amazing.
That is. When did you make the jump from writing is a fun thing to do to, oh no, this is now my new personality?
So, and every time I talk about this, I feel like such a imposter author because I feel like most authors are like, I've always written or I always love writing. And my whole life, this was my dream. And I'm like, I didn't start writing until 2023. So, and it was one of those things that like I wanted to read a book that had like very specific things. And I read a lot. And that's something that I've always done. I still do. One of my other friends says always, she's like, you're always trying to sell other people's books at your signings too. And I'm like, it's because I am always a fangirl, is what happens. But I'm like, people like walk around with a book that I read. How can I not tell them how much I loved it? So, or when somebody holds it at a book signing and they're like thinking about it, and I'm like, that is so good. You should definitely take it home with you. So anyway, so I wanted to like read something really specific, and my best friend was like, "You should just write a book." I'm like, "People don't just write books. Like that's not how it goes." And she was like, "Okay, sure." So I started just writing like the ideas of what I had on like my notes app when I was like waiting for my kids somewhere, or when I was at a signing in line and I was like jotting things down and stuff like that. And then a few months later, we had coffee with Veronica Eden, and my friend was like, Amber is writing a book. And I was like, I am not writing a book. I'm like, I have like a few notes on my phone. And Veronica was like, oh, well, why don't you write the book? And I was like, well, I don't like, but there was a lot of things, but most of them being pretty much like, who's going to read it? And she was like, I would. And I was like, okay. So, months went by. I continued writing in my little notes app. And in November, I got a computer. So this was like March of that year. And then in November, I got a computer to supposedly write this book. But I was like, let's see if I actually have something to work with. And when I put that notes app on my computer, I had 70% of that book done. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm
That's
actually
awesome.
I'm actually writing a book. And, I started writing like more seriously in the computer, more like, okay, let me actually pay attention to what I'm writing, what I'm doing, genre conventions too. So I used to read I used to read romance since 2020, but I also did a lot of like thrillers and women's fiction. So I wanted to make sure that I actually was writing a romance and not a women's fiction with romantic themes. Even if you've been in threads, you've seen all the talk about happily ever after and whatnot. But I wanted to portray this story with hardships and it ending in a happily ever after. So I knew it was going to be a romance. And then I decided I was going to publish it. And I think that moment when I finished that book and I was like, okay, I'm actually going to go through and publish this was that the rest of the stories just kind of took over my brain. And I remember it vividly. It was January 19th and I was on a plane and I like finished the book and I closed my computer and I was like, I can't wait to do this again. Like it was in that second that I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing, you know? And then I wrote my second book. And after that, that's when I was like, okay, I want to make a career out of this.
I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah. It's been great, you know. But yeah, I say all the time that I didn't choose writing. Writing chose me. And I've healed so much through writing and through listening to other people, reading my stories and then sharing with me how much it has impacted them. And now I'm like addicted to it.
It's a good thing to be addicted to.
Yeah.
When it comes to your writing, like who has been the easiest character to write?
So my full release Until We Break, which I wrote last year, Ellie and Cal were my easiest characters to write. I wrote that book in 33 days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't plot that book. I didn't plan that book. I woke up one day and they were like, "What if you write this?" And I had no time to write this. But I couldn't not. So their story had very minimal like dev edits. It was mostly like what I wrote stayed because it was so needed. It's my favorite thing I've ever written too. And they were so easy. They were so loud in my head. They were so easy to write.
That is cool.
I am low key jealous on how fast you can write. That is insane.
Yeah,
Do you
I'm a
sleep?
fast drafter. I am trying to do better. I'm a fast drafter because I don't edit as I write. So after I finish drafting, then I edit. So a lot of the times I can keep what I wrote. Some of the times I have to like do a lot of editing. But yeah, if the story is speaking to me, I can write fast.
I love that. I love that so much. Do you have a story that was just like the hardest to write?
Yeah. So The Hope Once Lost, which was my last release, was the hardest thing for me to write. There was a lot of like me personally in the story, a lot of like, it was really emotional. Both of my characters were going through like really complex grief and they were going through them in very different ways. So it was just really difficult. She also was, Natalie is a widow single mom. And I didn't realize this until after I finished the book, but her daughter was the same age I was when I lost my dad. And so after I finished the book, I was like, well, this is why. So I put some specific things about me and like my story in that book on purpose. And then some just kind of also happened without realizing it. I had to push the release back for that book 3 times. And I had never done that before. I actually had to cry to KDP too and be like, can I please have one more extension? Usually they give you one 30-day extension,
Mhm.
and I had to ask for two. The last time I asked for one, I sent them a picture of me crying, and I was like, please, just let me have 30 more days. And they were like, yes. So if you're an author listening to this, crying on their email works. I am so proud of that book, but that book put me through it. And then it's so emotional and sad that every time I sat down to write and I had to like read what I had written before, then I was like I was an emotional disaster by the time I had to write more emotional devastation. And it was really, really rough. And afterwards, I was in a very big writing slump because nothing was them.
Mhm.
So, yes. So I really love them. I am very proud of that story. My writing in that story, I feel like it's very strong. I feel really proud of my storytelling in that book too. Like, I can see the growth from like my debut to that one.
Mhm.
It's my ode to single moms, especially widow single moms. So it really means a lot to me. And it was beautiful to write. It's also my longest book. So I feel like I was writing that book for forever. It's not my saddest book, I don't think, but it's definitely really emotional. It's very hopeful too. I don't want listeners to be like, well, I'm never reading that. I'm like, no, listen. It's very hopeful too. It's called The Hope Once Lost, but it's just I had so many readers in my DM telling me I was crying with this and it's not even sad. Just the way their like inner monologue worked was very emotional. So that book put me through it.
Well, what is a tiny detail in one of your books that a reader may never notice, but you completely obsessed over?
Oh, so and I actually had one reader who noticed and she emailed me about it and it was like the coolest thing. But in The Truth Never Spoken, in my debut, they're flying into Jacksonville Airport. The area code of Jacksonville is 904 and that is the flight number
Oh,
for the
that's
flight that they're
cool.
taking. So it gets called on like the intercom or whatever. And I had a reader notice and email me. She emailed me and she said, "Did you do this on purpose?" I'm like, "Yes, I did this on purpose." So that's really cool.
Well, what is the craziest thing you've had to Google, for research?
So I have to research a lot of things, mostly because English is my second language and I have like phrases or sayings I have to Google. But I have a book where in The Lies Always Told, the female main character squirts, and that just feels like it was a part of her. And I had to do extensive research on squirting, and I have a lot of information about it now. I can talk probably for like a good 30 minutes to an hour
I love
about
it.
it,
I love it.
which, it's yeah, yeah.
Amber, I think that's the best answer we've gotten so far
I
on
think for
on
the
this.
season, definitely.
Yes, yes. There's other stuff like, I have a motocross book, so I didn't have to research so much because my family races, but I do a lot of research with each one of them, but definitely the squirting took me down. Once I started researching it, I couldn't stop reading about it. It was fascinating. And now I don't know. I have like a minor in, in the art of squirting. So I hope my mom is not listening to this.
She miss her.
Yeah,
Just
that's the
block
Amber
her from
effect, the
all the
cheeks
tags.
hurting.
Man, that's so great.
That is absolutely awesome. And that actually brings us to our last question is, do you have a snack of choice when you write?
I'm not a snacker, so no.
You have a new release coming out in June
Yes.
called Leave Me Again, and it's book one of the Riverbank Ranch series, who you are co-writing with, basically, like you have a shared world with
Yes.
Holly Lucky and Lo Everett. How did this come to be? Like, did y'all just come together one day and said, "Oh, let's write a series together"?
No, so Lo Everett bought a pre-made cover for her book. So the pink cover, if listen, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Riverbank Ranch series, these three covers are three different covers, but all three have a boot in the middle, and they're three different colors. Mine is orange, Holly's is like teal, and then Lo's is pink. So Lo bought the pre-made cover. She reached out to Holly and was like, "Hey, I don't have time to write a whole series of cowboy romances, but I would love to write like a shared world and whatnot." I had just finished writing a shared world with three other author friends last year. So Holly and I are close. Holly knows that I've been trying to write a cowboy romance since I started writing because I love reading cowboy romance, but I've been terrified of them. It's almost like I was terrified of writing hockey too and The Hope Once Lost. And she was like, "This is a great way for you to try it and see if you like it because you only have to commit to one book." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So I said yes. And it just kind of started from there. It's been a lot of fun. We did a lot of planning together at the beginning before we started writing, especially because this is not only a shared world, but we share external conflict. So the Riverbank Ranch is a family owned ranch, and we each have a sister. And the ranch is it's almost going out of business. So
Right.
this was their family business and they are trying to keep it alive. And then they each have to play a role into maintaining the ranch being what it is. So we have that external conflict together. So a lot of our books being like intertwine a lot. They are complete standalones, but because we have that external same conflict, we had to make sure that we had all of our ducks in a row.
Right.
And we have three sisters. So we also needed to make sure that their backstory was similar, or the same, that we had their parents have passed a few years before. We needed to make sure we had all that information correct and stuff like that. So it was really cool. It was like creating a whole world with them. And I can't wait to get everyone to read them.
That is
That
so
sounds
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, it was a
Now,
lot of fun for sure.
once it's, like, all said and done, are you gonna, like, break away and do something with, like, your character and, like, spin off of that? Or is it
So
just a true, like, one and done?
yeah, so I have a few side characters that I could explore in the future because I did really love writing it. And I love writing small town already, but writing the ranch. And so for now it's a standalone because my, future plans I have until we break in the fall that has nothing to do with it. And then Magnolia Springs next year, which we do see. So Dom, the male main character in Leave Me Again, has two younger brothers and they are getting their own books. So you get to see a little bit of
Fun.
that. Yeah.
So much fun. Okay.
Yeah.
You have my attention.
Yes. Yes. He has two younger brothers. And in Leave Me Again, you actually get to find out not necessarily what the story is about, but you get to find out like, I'm trying like not to spoil this. You get to
Don't do
find
it.
out. No, no, I'm not gonna spoil it because it's like I want the same reaction that everyone got when they read it. Like my beta team, they were like, "Did you just?" I said, "Yep." I did say that. I want that same reaction for everyone to get. But you get to find out like what pushes his story forward. And his book is Magnolia Springs 1. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really excited.
That is amazing. I can't wait. I'm still in the middle of reading Leave Me Again because I am a slow eyeball reader. It takes me forever to get through a book because I can only read at night. And by the time my head hits
Yeah.
the pillow, like
Yep.
I'm
You read
exhausted.
half a chapter and then you fall asleep. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And then that. But I'm loving this story. Like I can't
Yay.
wait to see how this world evolves. And when he calls her Firefly,
I can't.
like
Oh, I can't. I didn't plan for a nickname for that book, and it just kind of came out when he, like in that scene that he first calls her that, and I was like, "This is perfect! Like this is
I
the
know.
perfect nickname." So I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I am really picky with nicknames, so yes,
Well,
I'm obsessed with
that
that
one
one.
is chef's
I
kiss.
I fell in love. I read your Once Upon a December short novellas,
Yeah.
and I have to say, The Gift Rarely Given was so fun.
It's so
I
fun.
thoroughly enjoyed it and then dove into the season long awaited, and I can't tell you, like, listeners, it has a happy ever after. They get there, I promise. You got to hang on for the ride.
It just takes
But
7 years together.
what a ride you took us on in a novella. I was like, I can't decide if I
I
want to throw my Kindle at her or if
I
I
love
want
that.
to hug her because I was
Yes, that
like,
is, you
are
see,
you kidding me?
yes, that is the reaction I yearn for. People are like, oh, readers don't like messy romance. I'm like, I don't really care because the people who do love messy romance are gonna love you know what I mean? I'm like, they're like, oh, we hate our breakup. I'm like, then my books are not for you, friend. I can
I
point you in the direction of some people, but well, the gift doesn't
I
have
wanted
a
to
third.
yell. I wanted to yell at the characters so much. I was
I
like,
love writing my idiots to lovers. I just love it.
Yes.
And that book, the season long awaited, I had no business writing that book. I was already behind on my deadline for The Hope Once Lost. And I was watching The Guardian and I paused it and I was like, "But what if?" And I wrote it in like 10 days. I kid you not. It was my editor sent me the one final rule and the next day I sent her the season and she said, "What is this?"
surprise.
I'm like, I hope you have space on your editing schedule.
Oh my
That
god.
is too funny. That is
And I love
too
that book so
funny.
much. And when people are like, "Oh, I want like a snack size bite of your writing," and I'm like, "Okay, do you want to cry or you want to laugh? If you want to
And
do both, read them both. If not, you know what I mean." I'm like, the
yes,
gift is a good time, and the season is also a good time. However,
I didn't cry, but I have to say they both, I love holiday novellas and I love reading
mhm,
holiday romances no matter what time of the year I'm in. And really, really, really enjoyed both of those. So I definitely recommend our listeners, if they are new
yay,
to
thank
you,
you.
that those are the ones to check out. And the covers are so stinking cute on them.
Thank you.
Love
I am a
the
cover
covers.
Yes.
slut, so
Same
I
girl.
am a cover slut. So I fear the cover needs to hit as well. No, but I do appreciate that so much. I love my novellas, and they get docked on stars all the time because they were too short, and I'm like, they are meant to be short.
There are no
I know.
people who do that, and
They're
here's an
just, it's
unhinged
fine.
thought outside of unhinged thoughts. People who dock novellas do not know what a novella is, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Like, do your
Yeah.
research on what the word count is for books,
Hmm.
because novella has a specific word count,
Hmm.
and the second you
Hmm.
go over it, it's a novel.
It's,
And then
yep.
if you go higher
Yep.
beyond a basic novel, you're into, like, I don't even know what it's called, an odyssey.
Mm,
Like, that's your
it's wild. Yeah.
fantasies, and it's massive at that point. But I
Yeah.
hate when readers dock novellas.
Yeah, I'm usually just take it as a compliment. I'm like, you just wanted more of them. Like you just love them
Agreed.
so much that you
I
wanted
would take
more.
it that way too.
So, but no, but because readers do doc stars for stuff, their reviews don't look that great. So people are like, oh, I get messages that are like, I was a little concerned because he has a 3.5. I'm like, first of all, don't tell me how many reviews he has. Number one, and number two, don't tell me you were concerned about reading it. But then, but then they're like, but I loved it so much. I'm like, thanks. I'm so glad you loved it. I loved writing them too. I love writing novellas. They're so fun. And it's like, I don't know. I really love writing them. I wrote them in between, not the season, but The Gift and the One Final Rule. I wrote them in between my heaviest, like really heavy books.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it was needed too. I'm like, okay, I have a couple weeks to write something fun. Let's see what I can do.
Here.
They were your
Yeah,
palate
for sure.
cleanser.
Yes.
Actually listened to the audiobook of The Gift Rarely Given yesterday
Ye-
because I was cleaning and I was like, I have one more credit on Hoopla. I was like, what can I get? And I was going through, I was like, I want something short. And so I was like going through, and then I saw randomly I came across that it was on there, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to Amber tomorrow. I want to read this. So
Yeah, they
I
did
listened to that
such a good
yesterday.
job on the audio
Yes.
too.
Yeah, it was such a cute book. Like, I was
Yeah.
obsessed.
Yeah, I tell a lot of people have found me because of The Gift, mostly because the audio is the only one that is on audio right now. Although I do have 4 audiobooks coming out this fall.
Yay!
Yes.
So yeah, so get ready. But and then they come to me, and then they read something else, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, that is a rom com. That's about it. Until We Break actually is releasing. I'm like, I haven't said this, but it's not a secret, I don't think. Until We Break is going to release simultaneously. So I'm releasing the Podium is releasing the audio the same day I'm releasing
Oh,
the ebook.
so cool. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
Yay. That
I'm
is
really
so
excited. Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. It's not a
When is
secret.
that
I
s-
just
when is that supposed to come out?
November 3rd. Yeah. It's not a secret. It's just I haven't like posted it on my socials yet because I've been so focused in Leave Me Again.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not a secret, and we have like the narrators too, and I am so excited.
I'm so excited for
Awesome.
you.
It's gonna be so fun. I'm excited. I'm excited for all my audiobooks.
So, Courtney, drop us what you are listening to or reading today.
Well, Chaos Courtney is back, bitches, because I overwhelmed myself with some ALCs this month. I don't know why, but it's like I get one and I'm like, ooh, I want to start this. And then another one will pop up and I'm like, ooh, I want to start this. I haven't finished a book in like 2 weeks, other than like Amber's novella. But my most current is Kiss Me First by Riley Page. It's narrated in duet with Lee Samuels and June DeBorge, which I adore her. Hopefully I pronounced her name right. But it's so good. It's hockey. I'm only on chapter 13, but you can tell there's some sort of trauma that's happened, or it's either that or she is neurodivergent,
Mhm.
like, because you could just tell like her thought process is in it. So I'm really, and maybe a little bit of both, but I'm excited to see like where this book goes. And it's brother's best friend too, so I'm a
Yep.
slut for that. I'm also listening to Pretty Little Scars by Kristen Proby. That's another cowboy like on a farm kind of book. And then Billionaire Bachelor in Vegas.
Awesome.
Yeah, so those are my 3 that I'm currently listening to right now. What about you, Mary?
I just finished. What day are we on? Tuesday? Sunday, I just finished the arc of Rumors and Whiskey by Victoria Wilder.
So
So,
good.
oh my gosh, it was amazing. I will say I figured out I nailed all the whodunit stuff. So I called it very early on. So I don't want to spoil because that releases next and
Yes.
on the 16th. So now I am going back and I'm reading Bourbon and Secrets, which is book 2 in her Bourbon Boys series. So
Good.
and that's
You'll have fun with that one.
single dad, all the fun jazz that comes along with that.
Slutty glasses. Love
The way
it.
to be.
Yes.
What
Yes.
about you, Amber? Are you reading anything or are you
Yeah,
just
I'm always
focusing
reading
on writing?
something. I actually read before I write every day. It's like foreplay. Like I can't write without reading.
I love
It's
that.
Yeah. So I just finished Not a Strong Enough Word by Alice Lambert. It just came out last Tuesday. I read the indie version last year when it came out, and then I listened to the audio this year, and it's incredible. The audio is so good. She's an author going through burnout, and it's so relatable. It's so good. Yes, yes. So it's amazing. And then I just finished that 2 days ago, and then I started Dearly Departed by Chip Pons, which comes out next Tuesday, June 16th. So it will be out when this airs. And it's so good. I am obsessed. Yeah, his writing is very like I can shut off my brain and just like enjoy the story. And it's been really good. So I'm really excited to finish that as well.
Fun. I'll have to check it out.
Yes. I say all the time that like my biggest flex now that I'm an author is that I get early copies of like my favorite authors' books. Like I can just ask them. So, and then I have Aura Hayes's their second book in their trilogy, Not the Vampire, The Witch,
Mm-hmm.
one. They just send me an ALC for it, so that I will be listening to that as soon as I finish Dearly Departed.
Fun.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Yeah.
So now, Courtney, we get to move on to our what are we watching this week? Are you back to watching anything?
Yeah, me and my husband has been binge watching Perfect Match on Netflix when we can, but we're almost done. I think I have like 20 minutes left of it. It's been very entertaining, but the people on this season have just annoyed me so much. So I'm ready for it to end. And then Love Island just started, so we got to play catch up on that once we finish Perfect.
Awesome.
What about you?
Awesome. So I, with working from home, listen in the background sometimes. So I did 3 different movies and very wildly on different spectrums. The first one I watched was To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, which is probably an 80s movie, but it's got Stockard Channing in it, Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and just a whole bunch of other people. Totally heartwarming, funny. Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes are drag, and so it
Oh my
just
gosh, sign me up.
it just it's 95, 1995, but absolutely hilarious movie that's in you can watch it for free on Tubi. So I did that one. And then I watched Gracie's Choice, which she fights to adopt her 3 younger brothers, and it's based on a true story. Her mother was very unfit to be a parent, and she had been taking care of her siblings for a long time. If you are a crier, that one will have you sobbing. And then I also watched Instant Family, which is a couple who adopts 3 siblings. Don't ask me why I got on that train, but all of them were fabulous and I loved them. Obviously, very different reasons, but they were phenomenal.
Well, what about you, Amber? Are you watching anything? Do you watch TV?
I don't watch a lot of TV, but every summer I rewatch The Hunger Games, and I just finished my rewatch this weekend, and I'm already missing movie one again, so I might start it over. I don't know what to tell you. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I say I'm gonna rewatch it, but it might take me, 5 weeks to finish it because I don't watch it. Like if I'm sitting down and my eyes are being occupied, I'm gonna be writing usually.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I usually play it in the background or if I'm like folding laundry or something like that. We do family movie night every Friday, so we do watch movies then. We watch Maya the Bee on Friday. It's a little kids movie. And then we
Yeah.
watch one of the Star Wars movie, but I fell asleep because I don't love them. So it's fine. I'm not a Star Wars girly. I don't nothing against them. I don't love sci-fi, I don't think. So I fell
Okay.
asleep. Yeah, I fell asleep halfway through, but my kid finished it and then he turned off the TV and was like, "Are you sleeping in the living room or?" I'm like, "We
How
should
Yes.
all
Yes, I
sleep in
am.
the living room." Yeah, we all slept in the living room actually.
old are your kids?
7 and 10. Well, my 7-year-old turns 8 Monday, so
Oh, happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
thank you.
Mine's
So, and
mine's
my yeah,
14.
and then
So
my 10-year-old turns 11 next month, so I'm soon to have an 8 and 11-year-old.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have a 6-year-old and an almost 4-year-old. Well, no, Sawyer's 5. He'll be 6 in October. And then Kaylee turns 4 on the 27th.
I love that.
We
I
are
don't
in the
miss
thick
that
of it
age.
right now.
Yeah, you
I,
are, hang in there, mama.
I
That's
know.
all I
We
can
just,
say.
hey, parenting win. We got Sawyer to sleep in his room by himself, like going to sleep and everything
Good
on his
job.
That's
own.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yes. Only thing it
Good
took
job.
was a homemade chore chart.
Who cares?
Yeah, well, listen,
Who cares?
yeah, my son, my 10-year-old, when he was 4, no, he was a little younger than 4 because my daughter was, no, maybe he was 4, somewhere in between 3 to 4. But he said that I just don't understand how the people that are not afraid of anything get to sleep together, and the people that are afraid of everything have to sleep on their own in their quiet, cold room. And I'm like, you're not wrong. So just go get your blanket and get back
That's
in my
hilarious.
bed.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was the first night he goes, "But mama, when daddy grew up, he got to sleep in the bed with
Yep.
you. Why do
Yep.
I have to sleep by
Yep.
myself?" And I'm like, "Well, you're not
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
That
So,
is too funny.
every now and then I'm like, sleep over with mommy because, they're only little
We did
ones.
that.
So,
We did
Yeah.
that.
but
We would
good
camp
job
out in
on
the
getting him
living
to
room.
sleep. Yeah, we did that on Friday. But good job, Courtney. Parenting is so hard. And somebody said all the time, like, maybe if parents wouldn't stop talking about how hard it is, people would have more kids. And I'm like, no, actually, we need to talk about the responsibility that it is to raise human
Yes.
beings. So,
Yeah.
like it's not that we're all miserable, it's that it is hard work, and
Yeah.
it is something that you have to want even on the worst days. You have to want to raise humans, not just be a parent. You have to want to raise human beings. And when I tell people that, they're like, oh, when you put it that way, I'm like, yeah, it is
Yeah.
that big of a deal. So,
I always say I don't want to raise assholes, so
yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
I'm putting in the
And,
Facts.
work.
and I say all the time, I'm like, I would love another kid. I just don't want to raise another kid. Like, no,
Yeah, no.
I am responsible for the 2 I'm raising right now. And now I'm in the hunt of people who have babies, and I will hold your baby for 2 hours. You can take a shower, take a nap, and then I will give you your baby back.
Yes. Yeah. You could not pay me to be pregnant again. Like, no, it was like the worst thing ever.
My pregnancy was great, but I still have no desire to have another kid. So we're like I'm looking at we're approaching adulthood stage. There is no way I want to go back to diaper stage
Yeah.
at all. At all. But I think that leads us into our unhinged thoughts of the week, where we take our thoughts, no context, no logic, just vibes, and we unpack it like it's completely normal around here. So
I love
Courtney,
this.
Courtney, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'm really been really big on these like unhinged rants the last few weeks. So, keeping with that, your girl forgot to take her anxiety medicine like all last week. Like, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. I forgot. Like, my brain just I don't know. And by the time the weekend came, I was a monster. Like, I'm surprised I didn't get sick. Like, but I was so mean to everyone, to my kids, to my husband, to myself. It was a bad weekend, but I've got my medicine back on track, and yeah,
It takes a
it's
lot out of you. Like if you miss dose, like you almost feel like it takes you a whole nother week to catch up because your
yeah.
body has to get back into that rhythm of where you are with anxiety meds. And listeners, Courtney and I both will step on our soapbox and say there is absolutely nothing wrong if you need to take anxiety meds, depression meds, or any meds to help you live a happy, full, loving life. And I will
Yes,
beat up
yes.
anybody else who says otherwise.
But at one point, my husband, like, because me and my son kept on going at it, and my husband was like, "Y'all just need to separate." He's like, "I'm taking Sawyer fishing. You take Kaylee and go do something fun. Like, we're done." And I was like, "Okay, Dad."
My gosh.
So yeah, it was crazy in my house this weekend. So, but I'm doing better. I'm back on my medication, and yeah. So that's my unhinged rant. Take your medicine, people. What about you, Mary? What you got?
I am right there with you on the unhinged rant for today. So yesterday, well, let me back up. I made an appointment last week to do TSA pre-check because I'm going to be flying and I wanted to have TSA pre-check. Well, I filled out what I needed to online, looked up for a center near me, and there's one that was about 25, 30 minutes away. So schedule my appointment for 9:30 Monday morning. I'm like, this will be great. I'll be in and out. I'll be home in like an hour. My mom rode with me just so we could chit chat. And I was like, I'll stop by Chick-fil-A on the way home, get my kids some breakfast. Well, we get there, nobody's there. It's in an Office Depot. So let's preface with that. So I walk in, head over there. Nobody is there. So the guy is trying to track down who's supposed to be there because she was supposed to be there at 9:15 and I showed up at 9:20. Well, somebody else comes out and is like, yeah, the worker who does this overslept and she's going to be about 30 to 40 minutes late. And I'm like, are you serious? Like I would lose my job. I would lose a job. What happened even when I was working at Toys R Us in high school? You show up late, you might as well pack your stuff and get lost. Like, when is this acceptable to oversleep and not be, and I understand emergencies happen. Like, I'm not discounting emergencies, but to actually just oversleep or not care. And so there were 5 people behind me waiting for this TSA pre-check too. She finally rolls in and takes 5 minutes. Like, I don't understand why nobody else in the store had access to do this. They literally scanned my passport, scanned my fingerprints, took my picture, I paid my money, and that was it. It took 5 minutes. But I had to wait an hour because somebody can't be responsible and show up to the job on time. And so
That's wild.
that is my unhinged rant for the week because it totally threw off my entire Monday and put me behind on a lot of stuff. I ended up working last night until 10 o'clock at my big girl job. And I was just like, I'm like, the audacity of this. And she's younger than me. And I know that it's not the first time. And I know keeping employees in this day and age is hard. But it's like, where does the line happen where you give leniency, but at the same time, you also where's the respect that you have for your job? And yourself. I mean, it may not be like, "Oh, I'm, working some glitz and glamour," but I mean, show up and do the best at the job that you're at. Like, don't if you treat it like it's a trash job, then that's just going to be your perspective in life the whole way. Like, have respect for yourself and respect for your job and treat it as such. And maybe that makes me like an old fuddy-duddy, but I'm totally in my fucking 40s and they had
And
somebody
Fuddy Duddy.
standing outside the door. They had somebody standing outside the door while she was with me because I think the lady was afraid I was going to go off on her. And I'm like, no, I at least have enough tact that I'm not going to go off on some girl who was expecting. And I'm like, I have more tact than that, but I'm definitely not happy with how you run things.
Oh my God.
So that's my unhinged rant. So Amber, do you have anything unhinged that you would like to get off of your chest?
Well, considering
is
that
our
I had
therapy
this
session.
morning, I don't think so, but I think, what if I read you a quote
We will take it.
from my motivation app? Hold on. No, did I lose it? No. So I've been I've been getting this everyday quotes from this motivation app, and then they
Mhm.
disappear after you read them, so I can't find it. But the gist of the one I read this morning was pretty much that he said you have to be selfish. Like, in order to be able to lead a happy life, you have to be selfish with your time, with your peace, with your mental health, with your heart, with your emotions. And that doesn't mean that you have to be an asshole. That just means that it is okay to prioritize you so you can give to others. If you're not willing to give yourself what you're giving to others, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And that's how we burn out.
Oh my gosh.
I love
So I guess you get a
that.
lesson from me, not a
Yes,
Yeah.
lesson with
absolutely.
Amber.
Absolutely.
What app is this?
It's
Maybe I need
called,
to download it.
I think it's called motivation. And then there's a question at I've only had it for a week, so I don't know if he's gonna ask me to pay at some point, okay? So I'm gonna say that. It's called Motivation, but it has like a assessment at the beginning that you do, and it targets the quotes to whatever you put in that assessment. So like if you're struggling with other stuff, your quotes might not be like this
Like
for
it
mine.
tailors the quotes to
To
what
whatever
your
you you
yeah.
are that you're like
Very
working
cool.
on or whatever. But so I've been using this for about a week, but every for the past like 2 months, I've been having like a word for the week that I'm leading my week with. And this week
Mhm.
was selfish, was be selfish.
I love this. I
That
love
is
this so much.
awesome.
And I just
Like I'm
downloaded
not,
it.
yeah. So like I'm not gonna feel bad for spending an hour recording this and leaving my kids watching TV because I deserve to do things for me as well. And they are not
Mhm.
going like they're gonna be okay. You know?
Yep.
When we're
Yep.
done with this, I'm gonna take them out for a car ride, maybe get them ice cream. So but yeah, so that's kinda what I'm,
Awesome.
going with. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well,
Well,
listeners, be sure to drop what you're reading, what you're watching, and lay on us some unhinged thoughts or motivational thoughts and drop them in the comments. And who knows, we may read them on air.
or hear me out.
I'll give you the
Unhinged
same quote
motivation.
on Hinge wise. Are you ready? I can be on Hinge with it. You said we can cuss, yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Be selfish, bitch. You need to fucking go and be selfish. Put yourself first. Wake up, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I go before everyone else, and then live by that. Okay, there you go.
I love you, Amber.
That is going to be
Okay?
the teaser for this one. Let me
You're
tell you, I'm going to
welcome.
grab that to be the teaser.
You get teacher Amber and then you get bestie Amber, okay?
I love Bestie Amber.
Yes.
Oh
Love
my
it, love it.
goodness.
Well, before you leave us, tell us what is up next for you.
So I have Leave Me Again releasing June 26th. It's going to be available in ebook and paperback. It is a grumpy sunshine aged gap neighbors to lovers cowboy romance. It was so much fun to write. It's very like banter filled, really fast paced, very spicy. And for my stuff, okay, it is not spice driven, but there is definitely more spice than my regular Amber Cordova books. Like we said earlier, it is book one in the Riverbank Ranch series with Holly Lucky's releasing second and then Low Everett releasing third. And then in the fall, I have 4 audiobooks coming out. Stay tuned for announcement on those with some of my favorite narrators. So I'm so excited. And then I have Until We Break releasing in November, which I'm really excited about too.
Yay! And what about events? I know you're going to be in Knoxville next
Yes,
month.
I'm
So you got
doing.
any other
I
fun signings?
only have one more. I cancel most of my events for this year because my kids are starting middle school and elementary for the first time. And we don't have a lot of family nearby or anything like that. So I was like, I don't know what fall awaits. So I did pull out of a few events. I'm also having some health issues, so I can't fly right now, which sucks. But yeah, I know it's really sad, but it is what it is. So I'm doing meet and greet cute in July in Knoxville. You can find me there. You can find me at Tupelo Honey having chicken nuggets and fries, chicken tenders and fries. This is not sponsored, by the way. So that means that if you are near at Tupelo Honey, you have to try the chicken tenders now and see why I love them so much. And then I'm going to be at Tennessee LitCon in September.
And I keep on
Yes.
going back and forth if I want to get a day ticket or not. to
Listen,
that.
I was full for events this year and like I told them I couldn't make it and then I like sent them an email like late and I was like, "Can I still apply to this?" Because it was so good last year. It was so well done. I was so impressed that I was like, I have to do it again.
Before you leave, tell us where, or tell the listeners where they can find you at.
Yeah, so I actually live on Threads. That is where my house is. Instagram is my preferred social media platform, but I do have a newsletter, a Facebook group, and a Patreon. My Patreon has a lot of fun perks, including exclusive editions, and you get early chapters of things. You get all of my unhinged thoughts there as well. And I post what I'm wearing, which is really cool because I get a lot of people that say they get inspired by my outfit choices, which is cool because I thrift most of my clothes. So makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. But yes, but if you go to acordovabooks.com/links, you can find like the links for everything. So I am not picky which way you decide to stay tuned. All of them are really important to me. And, let's be besties.
Yes, and we will
Love
link
it.
everything in our episode show notes for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amber, for taking the time out of your busy day to come yap with us. It's been so great to finally do
Of
this.
course. Oh
It's
my
been
gosh,
a
I'm
lot
so
of
excited.
fun.
Yes, it was awesome.
And as always, you can catch us causing chaos over on Instagram at What the Smut Podcast, and me personally at On Point Digital Services.
And I'm over at Instagram at Courtney Leanne. If you want to join us for a chat, there's a form linked in our show notes. So be sure to fill that out because we would love to hear from you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving us a review. Reviews help other smut readers find us. And honestly, they make our chaotic hearts very happy.
And if you really love this podcast and want to show support, we've got a listener support link in our show notes. Supporters get shout outs, special giveaways, and maybe even exclusive chaos that you can't find anywhere else. We also have sponsorship opportunities as well.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.